Hello to all of you viewers of The Pioneer. I hope you're all healthy and well. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring you the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war. In today's broadcast, we will cover an impressive demolition operation carried out by the Ukrainian armed forces. The fighting in Kharkiv is in full swing. This is while these offensives are very costly for Ukraine, consuming large amounts of ammunition. In order to regain lost prestige, the Russian armed forces have been launching intensive offensive attacks in this region, but they've not been able to achieve many of their goals. In the process, they've not hesitated to spend billions of dollars worth of ammunition. Despite Russia's failures in these attacks, they continue to put pressure on the region with more ammunition and more intensive attacks in order to break Ukraine's resistance. In order to support its troops in the region, the Russian armed forces have been continuously shipping ammunition, storing them in so-called camouflaged areas. However, it seems that these camouflages haven't been effective enough. The Ukrainian army has recently managed to destroy one of these camouflaged Russian arsenals during a successful operation. Let's take a closer look at the details of this operation. As the Pioneer team, we strive to convey to you the developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. I also read all the comments you leave on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. And now let's start if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. The torch of freedom lit by the armed forces of Ukraine continues to illuminate both Ukraine and Europe. These forces have repeatedly defeated the Russian army, hitherto thought to be invincible, with extraordinary resistance at every point of the front line. In addition to failing to achieve most of its objectives, the Russian army has suffered heavy losses. This resistance of the Ukrainian armed forces has made the Russian armed forces to constantly try new strategies. However, it should be noted that the Ukrainian armed forces has responded to each new strategy put forward by the Russian army with very quick solutions. The Ukrainian army managed to target the Russian troops several times before they could get used to the new process. While every change of strategy of the Russian army was costly, the Ukrainian armed forces made good use of these opportunities. The negative comments made about Ukraine at the beginning of the war have lost their validity with the successes of the Ukrainian army. The Ukrainian armed forces recognized the camouflaged arsenal strategy, one of the most important strategies of the Russian army early on, and took action. The Ukrainian troops, which produced fast and effective solutions against this strategy, have also frustrated the plan of the Russian army. In recent days, another Russian arsenal has successfully been destroyed by Ukrainian troops. Detailed reports from the region reveal that the destruction operation was meticulously planned by Ukrainian intelligence and operational units of the Ukrainian armed forces. Ukrainian intelligence units have successfully infiltrated Russian radio channels and have begun monitoring Russian military activities in the region. During these surveillance activities, it was discovered that the Russian military had amassed a seizable arsenal in the vicinity of Kharkiv, which revealed how critical and urgent the operation was. Now it was time to destroy this arsenal to disrupt the plans of the Russian army and weaken its forces. The identified arsenal reportedly contained large quantities of explosives and one-on-one combat ammunition. This arsenal was critical to the continued presence of the Russian armed forces in the region. The Russian army was already struggling with heavy losses of both military personnel and armored vehicles around Kharkiv. The arsenal contained not only ammunition but also spare parts, engineering equipment, and other logistical support materials. Therefore, its destruction would have dealt a serious blow to the Russian army. Immediately after locating the arsenal, the Ukrainian operation team moved in early in the morning. The arsenal had been hidden deep in a wooded area and was well camouflaged. No enemy elements were observed around the site. A Apparently, Russian soldiers only used it during ammunition pickups and at night. However, the presence of a large number of empty beer cans in the area was one of the signs that it had previously been used by Russian soldiers. The team leader ordered his soldiers to secure the perimeter. First, the area was carefully checked for any traps or enemy elements. When no threat was detected, the demolition operation began. The Ukrainian soldiers carefully approached the entrance of the ammunition depot and planted small but strong explosive charges. A detonator was then set and the soldiers quickly left the area. Shortly afterwards, the arsenal was destroyed with a huge explosion. For the Ukrainian soldiers, this was a moment of success and relief as they stood back and watched the scene from a safe distance. The explosion that occurred when the arsenal was blown up was indeed quite violent. Sources in settlements close to the area claimed the impact of the explosion was felt and heard even in these areas. The sound of the explosion was heard not only in the settlements but also in the Russian headquarters. However, as you know, the Russian side usually prefers to remain silent on such events. Therefore, we are unlikely to know what the Russian authorities think or say about this issue. However, it is important to underline one important point. Even the smallest mistake made by the Russian military in camouflage can cost the Russian economy billions of dollars. Such incidents have serious consequences not only militarily but also economically. While the camouflage mistakes of the Russian army cause huge financial losses, this situation also negatively affects the overall economic situation of the country. The attacks carried out by the Ukrainian armed forces continue to have an increasingly coercive effect on the Russian armed forces. Although it has been a long time since the start of the war, the fighting has not yet come to an end. Even the slightest development in the region is of great importance, as every single move has the potential to affect the overall course of the war. The destruction of ammunition depots is particularly important as they could play a decisive role in the future of this war. Attacks on such strategic targets can seriously weaken the logistical capacity and fighting capabilities of the other side. Therefore, Ukraine's operations against such critical targets can greatly shape the outcome of the war and its future developments. What do you think? How might Ukraine's strategic offensives affect the morale of the Russian army? What problems could demoralization cause among Russian troops? What logistical challenges could Russia's loss of ammunition cause in the long run? How would these difficulties affect the fighting capacity of the Russian army? What are the main forces behind the successful operations of Ukrainian intelligence? How can these factors be used in future operations? We care about your opinions, so please share them with us.